This next article from CNBC. Facebook is a social network monopoly that buys, copies, or kills competitors. Antitrust committee finds. A House antitrust subcommittee determined Facebook wields monopoly powers in social network, has maintained its position by acquiring, copying, or killing its competitors, according to a report released by the subcommittee on Tuesday. This came out October 6th, a while ago. So maybe near the first of the month or something. The report describes an exchange in which Mark Zuckerberg, who might be an android, suggested to Instagram co-founder Kevin Systrom that, quote, refusing to enter a partnership with Facebook, including an acquisition, would have consequences for Instagram, end quote. Report recommends that Congress view a series of potential remedies. These include structural separation, which could require divestiture and separate ownership of each business. End quote. So that would mean that they can't stream videos. I personally would love to sue Facebook. If you would like to join a class action lawsuit with me, I've had a number of my comments marked that were critical of Black Looter Mob, of Antifa, and immigration, and of censorship, of antitrust censorship with Facebook. Had them marked as spam, and I am very eager and willing to jump onto a class action lawsuit. If you would like to DM me on Twitter at RSS Commentary, if I had a similar situation. So, what does that mean? I don't know anything about how that works. Like, does that mean that the trial was over and they're going to split them up? I don't know enough about that. Let's see if we can get any clues here. House Judiciary Subcommittee on Antitrust determined Facebook wields monopoly power. Social network. This is going to like reiterate what we just read. I don't think that's it. Acquisitions anti-competitive. Report concluded Facebook's monopoly power is firmly entrenched and unlikely to be eroded by competitor pressure from new entrants or existing firms, end quote. And you know, there's a boat ton of Facebook competitors, and they're probably a lot better. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like nationalization is usually pretty bad, but I don't know. I mean, I do like the analogy of the railroads. So the railroads are federal property. So if you're on a train and you get caught with marijuana, they can give you a federal offense, which is bad. But they are serviced mainly through, on the West Coast, it's a company called Union Pacific. And so the land is owned by the federal government, but the train tracks are owned by the Union Pacific. But when you're on the railroad tracks, the state has the ability to control which traffic is prioritized. And I think they've prioritized Amtrak travel. My memory is a little bit foggy around that little specific. I used to ride the train up to Portland all the time. Uh, I live in Eugene, Oregon, so I would commute from Eugene to Portland like 3 to 5 times a week. It was interesting. It was exhausting, but I like that model of it does work best when you have private industries in control. Governments are just too much red tape. They give out too fat of retirement benefits. They have too many anti-racism, critical race theory, uh, doctrine of diversity stuff floating around, to where there's just so much red tape. It's like they gotta like make everything even, and then like they gotta provide so many benefits for everybody. And then out in the private sector where you don't have to deal with it as much, like it frees up a lot more resources. So instead of paying out like retirement accounts, they're able to get a better deal on that labor without having to pay for the retirement things and then all these other things that the state usually just overspends on. And a lot of times that overspending stimulates the economy. So it's not all bad. What am I talking about here, though? Private industry. So what I'm trying to get at here is what should the public own, and what is it okay to nationalize Facebook if there can be only one? Like if everybody's glued on this one network, that's it. Then how much money is it? How much money should Facebook be allowed to make every year? Like if you split them up, say you took the marketplace, split that off, took the video streaming service, you took WhatsApp, you took Messenger. So all they had was the social network, and then the messaging service. They had to allow other services, things. You could make an argument. You could probably restrict them down to the size of a medium-sized company. That's probably all that you would actually need to actually manage the network, and then you would have the probably still be a large company. Then you still have the monitoring needs, because there are people that upload. Well, hold on. I think the rules with Section 230. This isn't the antitrust thread. So this isn't the Section 230 thread. But you got the Section 230 argument, where basically, in order to get Section 230 protections, they're supposed to be monitoring either all of the material or none of the material. For example, if you owned a bookseller, if a seller sold a book and then you had taken your editors, you reviewed the book, and then put it up ready for sale, but that book contained some copyrighted material they didn't have a license for. So someone comes and sues you for a tort offense because you used their copyrighted material without their permission. This is the best example because it's nice and easy to conceptualize a book. So you as a book seller, you're not immune from tort lawsuits. Like, you could sue me if I publish copyrighted material from another source. So likewise, the book publisher is not any different of an entity than I am, and they can also be sued for these tort offenses. So Section 230 gives platforms protection from tort lawsuits for actions that their users do or that are unlawful, can be a tort offense, such as posting copyrighted material, posting pornography in the view of minors, posting harassing and bullying material, something you can get a restraining order in real life for through a court. Because people are just expected to do these things. But we give them a pass because they're supposed to be not regulating any of it. They're supposed to be more like Amazon.com. If they want to get a pass from the copyright protections, tort laws, then they either have to monitor and edit all of the books or none of the books if they want to get Section 230 protections. So what does that have to do with this? When Facebook has this monopoly power, they have a ability to impose their worldview, their system of doing things from Silicon Valley on the rest of the community. And it allows them to control the speech for the entire town square or community square. Is that what they're saying it is? I'm sorry, I'm spacing out that word right now. So we definitely have to take them out. I would like to sue them. I feel like I've had a bunch of comments marked as spam that were critical of the Black Looter Mob, of Antifa, of feminism, of one time I said that women were crazy. So it was, it's like saying people are crazy, man. This woman was crazy, and then they flagged it as hate speech. So if you just say women are crazy on Facebook, they'll mark it as hate speech. It's just crazy. And it's like they're using AI algorithms. So the algorithms, they don't know the context very well. They need to be trained by moderators. So the moderators need to go into the system and flag whether something's hate speech or spam. If they don't like it, if it's critical of worldviews that they endorse, such as Black Looter Mob and Antifa, then they'll flag that as spam. And the moderators are extremely biased. They hire these low-income people in communities wherever they can get the labor at a good price. And the moderators have the bias of the local community. And the people setting the rules are tech giants from Silicon Valley. Twitter is in Silicon Valley. Quora is in Silicon Valley. YouTube's in Silicon Valley. All the big players are there. And so it's a monoculture there. It's a group think echo chamber heterodoxy, which means they all have the same orthodoxy. And they're in control of our stuff. And so when they are able to, like the last article we covered was about the QAnon. They've been banning QAnon groups because there's some people that are cray, and then some people bully people, and they'll call people pedophile. I think, if you're calling somebody pedophile without any evidence, I think that that's like a criminal action. So that is like tort offense. So that's something that under Section 230 that Facebook would have a right to take stuff like that down. Definitely would agree with them. I mean, who wants to get called a pedophile by some crazy dude on the internet and get hate mobbed? I've had that happen to me from people on the internet who, I think somebody mentioned something about QAnon, and then I was supporting Trump, and then they were like, no, the Republicans are the pedos. And then This guy was like a Democrat who was into QAnon, and this guy was just fucking legit crazy, legit crazy. And he was really a bully. Like I had done nothing. Like I think the conversation was pleasant. It was online with another mutual acquaintance, and then he just interjected and just started like being really rude, and definitely not fun to do that. But this is why. Yeah, Facebook's just way too big. I don't know what else to say, honestly. I'm glad that the Senate House subcommittee is taking this action. It's long overdue. People have been hiding behind Section 230 to let them suppress our speech while they're gaining a global monopoly, and then it prevents any other competitors from coming up into the field. So I'm looking forward to the tech giant going down. But it's like, what are you going to do with it? It's like a public utility. It's like people communicate through that. And I wouldn't be opposed to a nationalized social network. I don't, as long as it was under the hands of the local government. I don't know what you could say, other than looking at the model the Union Pacific uses with the federal government owning the railroad tracks, and then the Union Pacific owning the federal government owns the land under the railroad tracks, but the Union Pacific owns the actual railroad tracks. I think it's kind of the way that should probably be modeled, because that system makes sense. Like the trains run very smoothly, and Union Pacific is not rich. I think that's kind of the way that Facebook should be dealt with, is to make it so that the people in control of the social network just aren't making vast amounts of money. I think you could basically, I don't know, that's an advertising juggernaut. Like they control, between them and Google, it's like almost all the market. I think Google has like 70% of the searches, and then Facebook's like another 20. I don't know. Or hold on, another 15 or something. If you know the numbers, if you want to comment down below. I need to move on.